Hello, YouTubers. Apologies for my voice. I'm really not very well, but anyway, let's crack on with this. So, episode 5. And to be honest, I had some mixed feelings about this one. It seems to be a running theme with this, doesn't it? But overall, I would say I enjoyed it for the most part. Yes, Jack. They named the baby Avocado. Well, he did anyway. But anyway, to be honest, my thoughts on this episode. It is basically a based on a sea story, but the thing is, with all of Chris Criminal's episodes so far, they seem to be ripping off 80s horror films. Episode 1 was essentially a rip-off of Predator, and this episode is pretty much a rip-off of Alien. And to be honest, I think the main problem I have with it is that the alien itself didn't really seem to be a credible threat. It seemed like they purposely tried to make the creature, the alien, as cute as they could. Which is a bit unlax, and the fact that they said, it can't harm people. Either Chris Hemsworth seems to be constantly basically doing this where the villain cannot harm the actual characters. Like, he did it in the Rosa Parks episode, where basically the villain could not actually harm the Doctor or anyone else. And it's the same thing here. In terms of tension, to be honest, I don't know, I just didn't really feel any tension throughout the episode because since it was a small cast, you know that basically then there isn't going to be a lot of kills and accidents. Basically, it's just like a get out jail free card. We've seen this type of, not just in Doctor Who, but type of story being told so many times before that, although I'd say it was a decent enough time, it's not something I'm gonna go back to or go harking back to. It's okay at best. It's just like, well, that was 50 minutes that passed, but to be honest, I did keep checking the clock several times, which is a bad thing, where basically it's just like, okay, get on with it. Doc Brown is in this episode. So that's interesting. I actually forgotten that he was actually going to be in this episode, but yeah, Doc Brown is in this episode. For those of you who don't know who Doc Brown is, basically, one of the things he's probably most famous for, other than being a rapper, is one of the creators of the 4 O'Clock Club, which aired and still airs on BBC. I haven't watched on CBBC, sorry, but I haven't watched the 4 O'Clock Club since Series 3, so, but apparently that's still going strong, apparently. I wouldn't know. In terms of the episode, so I was thankful that it wasn't a pregnant Ragley Walsh as what was first thought in the teasers. So no pregnant Ragley Walsh, so we didn't have to deal with that. In terms of basically, it's basically just to stop the countdown. To be honest, out of all the episodes, this one I've kind of got the least amount to say on. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head after just watching it. It was just like, it was okay, to be honest. Although, I never felt like any of our characters were in danger, since the actual threat wasn't actually going after anyone on the ship, it was just the ship itself. And I think that's the main problem, is that it kind of diffuses the tension that this creature, since, it's basically, it's just interesting eating, essentially, man-made objects, or non-organic objects, that basically diffuses any tension, because you know that even if the creature is in the room with them, as long as they don't touch it, because it's apparently toxic, then they're going to be fine, essentially, unless it eats away a bit of the ship, and they fall out into space or something. So, to be honest, Chris Kimwell had a really, although it wasn't an original idea, it was a good idea to have, a creature on a base under siege with the ship basically being eaten away. But the fact that the creature, wasn't doing anything, it's just like, I think what would have been a better idea, as if rather than the creature, just eating bits of the ship and basically the ship then having a remotely detonated bomb on it. Rather than that, why not have the bomb on a countdown or something like that? Or the ship, I don't know, about to be destroyed. Like Chris Chibnall's previous work, 42, with the actual creature going on. Shit, I've just realised. This is a lot like 42, actually. Yeah, when you think about it, it has a lot of similarities to 42. I've literally just realised that. So Chris Chibnall isn't just ripping off Alien, but he's also ripping off himself. Jesus Christ, he's doing a Moffat, where he's ripping off himself. But yeah, other than that, I've got essentially nothing to say. The backstory, we get a bit more backstory on Ryan again. It doesn't feel forced, particularly. Initially, although the bit where basically Yasmin asks how his mother died may have seemed a little bit forced into it, but I didn't feel like it was too hampered on, and it wasn't something that was going on constantly. Ryan even says, "Why am I talking about this?" Which I don't know whether that's meant to be like a fourth wall breaking bit or not, but it kind of felt a bit like that. Or when I was just watching it there, it's just like, was Chris Kimmill basically having a self-aware moment, so just wrote that line in there? I don't know. But overall, this episode, it's fine enough, I guess. I did prefer last week's episode, since last week actually had a credible threat that was actually a threat against our cast. Whereas this week, we have a threat, although it's not a threat directly to the characters. Yes, it is a threat to them indirectly because it's going to eat away at the ship. Though basically it's just doing it to eat, essentially, just doing it to stay alive. It's not, going after the cast because it's not interested in them because they're organic life. It seems to be a common recurrence, and to be honest, this is the, pretty much every episode is being written by Chris Chibnall now. To be honest, it seems to be a lack of variety in the series, because every episode so far has either been written by Chris Chibnall or co-written by Chris Chibnall, which just shows a lack of variety in the series. I know it's to try and have a constant flow throughout, but to be honest, it just seems to be a lot of all the same. All the episodes pretty much feel the same as each other, with a lack of variety in this. I hope this changes next week, but all the episodes really do feel exactly the same. I could be describing practically nearly any episode because I seem to be repeating myself over and over again. It just feels like, in terms of, I'm not talking about plots so much, I'm talking about more tone, although sometimes plots and ideas that just seem to be exactly the same in each and every episode. Also, we never find out what the hell the Doctor and Co. were searching for at the start of the episode in that junkyard. Or did they? Was it a throwaway line? I don't know. But anyway, that's it for this video. And hopefully I should see you next week if I haven't died from this bloody cold. I feel bloody awful. Anyway, that's it for this one. Bye-bye.